The hospital was never supposed to be this quiet. At 2:17 a.m. Street, Holloway Memorial Hospital felt less like a place of healing and more like a tomb built for the living. Michael Reeves, a newly hired night nurse, stood at the end of Corridor C, holding a clipboard that felt heavier than it should. The lights flickered above him. Not randomly, rhythmically, as if something was breathing through the ceiling. Michael swallowed and checked his watch again. His phone had lost signal the moment he entered the building. No service, no Wi-Fi, just the soft hum of old machines and the distant beeping of heart monitors. Most patients had been transferred months ago. The hospital was officially closed. Yet here he was. "You'll only be covering one floor," the administrator had said. Easy money. Michael didn't believe that anymore. A loud intercom crackle shattered the silence. "Nurse Reeves, room 404 needs assistance." Michael froze. Room 404 had been sealed. He remembered the warning clearly. "Never enter room 404 during night shift." He stared down the hallway. The sign above the door flickered. 404, intensive care. Probably a malfunction, he muttered. As he walked closer, the temperature dropped sharply. Frost formed along the metal railings. His breath fogged. The door to room 404 was slightly open. Inside, the lights were off. Michael pushed the door gently. The smell hit him first. Antiseptic, mixed with rot. A hospital bed stood in the center of the room. Straps hung loosely from the sides. The heart monitor beside it was still on. Flatline. But the screen suddenly spiked. Beep. Michael stepped back. That's when the voice whispered from behind the curtain. "You're late, Michael." His blood ran cold. Because he had never told anyone his name. And then the curtain moved. Michael's heart pounded so loudly he was sure the walls could hear it. The curtain trembled slightly, as if someone were breathing behind it. "Hello," Michael whispered, his voice barely carrying. No answer. Slowly, he pulled the curtain aside. The bed was empty. No patient. No body. Only deep scratches carved into the mattress, as if fingers had dug into it in desperation. The heart monitor suddenly beeped faster. Beep, beep, beep. Michael stepped back, nearly tripping over a rolling stool. Then he saw it. A chart clipped to the foot of the bed. Patient name, Ella Morgan. Status, deceased. Time of death, 2:17 a.m. Michael looked at his watch. 2:17 a.m. The exact time. A cold voice whispered behind him. "She dies every night." Michael spun around. A woman stood near the doorway. Pale skin. Dark circles under her eyes. Wearing an old nurse's uniform stained with something brown and dry. "I'm Nurse Evelyn," she said calmly. "You shouldn't be in here." "Then why did the intercom call me?" Michael demanded. Evelyn's lips twitched into something like a smile. "The hospital calls who it wants." The lights flickered violently. For a split second, Michael saw shapes in the walls, faces pushing outward, mouths open in silent screams. "They don't know they're dead," Evelyn continued. "Not yet." A gurney rolled past the doorway by itself. On it lay a body covered with a sheet. The sheet twitched. Michael backed away. "I'm leaving." Evelyn's expression hardened. "No one leaves during the night shift." The intercom crackled again. "Nurse Reeves, patient transfer to Ward B." Evelyn turned toward the hallway. "Come," she said. "If you ignore them, they come to you." The heart monitor flatlined again. Then spiked. And from the bed came a wet gasp. The gurney stopped moving. The sheet slowly slid back on its own. A woman's face stared up at Michael. Her eyes snapped open. She screamed. Michael staggered backward as Nurse Evelyn grabbed his arm and dragged him into the hallway. "Don't look too long," she hissed. "They remember faces." They moved quickly through the corridors. The walls seemed closer here, the ceiling lower. Paint peeled in long strips like shedding skin. A rusted sign hung crooked above a set of double doors. Ward B, long-term care. Inside, beds lined the room in perfect rows. Every bed was occupied. Every patient lay still. Michael counted them. 20 beds. 20 patients. All breathing. All with toe tags attached. Dead. A man in bed 12 suddenly sat up. His neck bent at an impossible angle. "Is it morning?" he asked softly. Michael felt bile rise in his throat. Evelyn leaned close to him. "Ward B is where they wake up before they understand." "Understand what?" Michael whispered. "That they can't die anymore." The intercom buzzed again, louder now. Code black. Code black. Patient awareness increasing. The patient's eyes opened one by one. 20 pairs of eyes locked onto Michael. Their mouths began moving in unison. Why did you let us sleep? The doors slammed shut. Lights went out. Emergency lights flickered red. One patient stood. Then another. Then another. Evelyn pushed Michael toward a side exit. Run. They feed on panic. Hands grabbed at his uniform. Fingernails scraped his skin. He broke free and slammed through the side door. The hallway beyond was dark and wrong. The floor sloped downward. The sign on the wall read, "Basement level, experimental treatment." Michael stopped. "I never agreed to this," he whispered. Evelyn's voice echoed behind him, distant now. "You did. A long time ago." The stairs groaned under Michael's weight as he descended into the basement. Each step felt like he was walking deeper into a memory he had tried to forget. The air grew thick, chemical, metallic, alive. Flickering fluorescent lights revealed long hallways lined with reinforced doors. Each door had a small window. And behind every window, movement. Michael stopped at the first door. Inside, a man was strapped to a chair, IV lines pumping black fluid into his veins. His eyes were wide open, lips moving silently. Michael leaned closer. The man suddenly looked straight at him. And smiled. A loud clang echoed behind him. Michael spun around. Nurse Evelyn stood at the top of the stairs, her face half hidden by shadow. "You weren't supposed to remember this yet," she said. "Remember what?" Michael shouted. She stepped down slowly. "That you were never hired," Evelyn said. "You volunteered." The lights flickered violently. Images flashed in Michael's mind, papers signed, desperation, a younger version of himself sitting in an office. Experimental neuro revival program. Consent form. "I was dying," Michael whispered. "Yes," Evelyn replied. "Terminal brain trauma. You had weeks." She stopped in front of a metal door marked in red paint. "Subject 0. You were our first success," she said. "The only one who came back, aware." The door opened by itself. Inside was an operating room. Old, rusted, bloody. In the center lay a gurney. And on it, Michael. Younger, pale, skull partially shaved, electrodes still embedded. A tag hung from the toe. "Michael Reeves, deceased." Michael screamed and staggered back. "That body died," Evelyn said calmly. But something else woke up. The intercom crackled one last time. Subject 0 showing signs of memory recovery. Evelyn's eyes met his. "Now the hospital wants to finish the treatment." The gurney twitched. The body opened its eyes. The body on the gurney inhaled sharply. Its chest rose. Its eyes, Michael's eyes, focused. Michael backed away, shaking. "That's not me." The body turned its head. Slowly, joints cracking like old wood. "Yes," it whispered. "It is." Nurse Evelyn stepped between them, calm as ever. "You're both Michael Reeves. One remembers. One functions." The machines around the gurney powered on by themselves. Screens flickered with brain scans, two identical patterns, slightly out of sync. "You died during surgery," Evelyn continued. "But your consciousness didn't stop. It transferred." Michael clutched his head. Memories overlapped. 2 lives, 2 deaths. The other Michael sat up. "You took my place," it said softly. "You walked. You spoke. You forgot." Alarms blared. Red lights flooded the room. From the hallway came dragging footsteps, Ward B patients, awakened, drawn by memory recovery. "They're coming," Evelyn said. "They always come when Subject 0 stabilizes." The second Michael stood, IV lines tearing from his arms. "Only one of us can leave," he said. "The hospital needs balance." The walls began to bleed condensation. Faces pressed through them, whispering Michael's name. Evelyn placed a scalpel on the tray. "Finish the procedure," she said. "Decide which consciousness stays embodied." Hands shaking, Michael picked up the scalpel. The other Michael stepped closer. "If you kill me," it whispered, "you kill the truth." The scalpel felt impossibly heavy in Michael's hand. The second Michael stood inches away, eyes calm, almost kind. "You feel it too," he said. The hospital breathing. Michael did. The walls pulsed. The floor vibrated like a slow heartbeat. The fluorescent lights flickered in time with it. Thump, thump, thump. "This place is alive," Michael whispered. Nurse Evelyn nodded. "Street. Holloway isn't a hospital anymore. It's a host." A metal door behind them burst open. Ward B patients flooded the basement. They moved wrong, jerky, uneven, bones bending where they shouldn't. IV lines dragged behind them like veins torn from the walls. All subjects are connected, Evelyn said over the alarms. When subject 0 remembers, they wake. A patient grabbed Michael's arm. Its skin was ice cold. You promised we'd be better, it rasped. Michael tore free, stumbling back. The second Michael stepped forward, strangely untouched by the chaos. They recognize me, he said. Because I stayed awake. The patients circled them, but none touched the other Michael. He belongs to the hospital, Evelyn said quietly. You don't. Not anymore. Michael looked at her. Then why am I still here? Because the hospital isn't finished deciding. The heartbeat grew louder. The walls split open, revealing thick, dark tissue beneath the concrete, veins running through the building itself. Monitors lit up without power. Treatment phase, selection. The hospital spoke through the intercom, its voice layered with hundreds of others. One consciousness. One vessel. The second Michael turned to him. You can leave, he said. But only if you let me take your place completely. Michael's vision blurred. He understood now. If he chose freedom, the hospital would keep the other Michael, awake, aware, forever feeding it. If he chose to stay, the patients might finally rest. Evelyn met his eyes. This is where nurses make the hardest choice, she said. The patients began screaming. The scalpel trembled. The screaming patients froze. All at once. Their mouths hung open, eyes wide, bodies trembling as if time itself had stalled. The heartbeat slowed. Thump, thump. Michael turned to Nurse Evelyn. Who are you? He asked. Really? For the first time, Evelyn looked tired. Very tired. I was a nurse, she said softly. A long time ago, when this was still just a hospital. She stepped toward the wall and pressed her palm against it. The concrete rippled like skin under. Water. Street. Holloway began as an experiment, she continued. They wanted to cure death. Not delay it. Cure it. Michael's mind flashed with images, doctors, surgeons, desperate families, endless consent forms. They succeeded, Evelyn said. But they didn't understand the cost. The other Michael watched silently. The hospital learned, Evelyn went on. It learned pain, fear, regret, consciousness. She looked back at Michael. And it learned hunger. The frozen patients suddenly spoke together, their voices overlapping. We remember dying. Michael staggered. Evelyn's voice broke slightly. I stayed to help them. To guide the ones who woke up wrong. You're dead, Michael realized. Aren't you? Evelyn nodded. I died during the first collapse, she said. But the hospital kept me. Like it kept you. The other Michael stepped forward. She chose to stay, he said. I didn't get that choice. Evelyn turned to Michael. You do. The lights dimmed until only the emergency glow remained. On the far wall, words carved themselves into the flesh beneath the plaster. Treatment options. Release. Replacement. If you choose release, Evelyn said, the hospital will let you leave. But it will keep feeding. New subjects. New suffering. And replacement? Michael asked. Evelyn swallowed. You take his place. Fully. The hospital stabilizes. The others, finally rest. The patient's eyes slowly turned toward Michael. Hope. Fear. Begging. The second Michael met his gaze. I can endure it, he said quietly. I already have. Michael shook his head. No, he whispered. You shouldn't have to. The hospital heartbeat accelerated. It was losing patience. Michael's hands stopped shaking. For the first time since entering Street Holloway, his thoughts felt clear. I remember why I volunteered, he said quietly. I was afraid of dying. Afraid of ending. The second Michael watched him closely. But now I understand something worse, Michael continued. Living like this isn't living. The hospital responded. The walls tightened. Veins beneath the plaster pulsed faster. The intercom hissed with overlapping voices, doctors, patients, children, screams from different decades. Selection required, the hospital demanded. Ward B patients fell to their knees. Some cried. Some reached for Michael with trembling hands. Please, one whispered. Let us sleep. Michael turned to the other Michael. You said you stayed awake, he said. You carried the truth. The other Michael nodded. So you could forget. Michael looked at Nurse Evelyn. If I choose replacement, he asked, will it end? Evelyn hesitated. It will quiet the hospital, she said honestly. For a long time. Long enough for the others to rest. Long enough for the hunger to fade. Michael exhaled slowly. Then that's the choice. The second Michael's eyes widened. No. Michael stepped forward. I was already dead, he said softly. You're just reminding me. He placed the scalpel back on the tray. I choose replacement. The hospital screamed, not in anger, in satisfaction. The walls split open. Flesh parted. Cables and veins wrapped gently, but firmly, around Michael's arms and legs. The patients began to collapse, one by one, their breathing slowing. Peaceful. The other Michael screamed as he was pulled backward toward the stairs. No, he shouted. You can still leave. Michael met his own eyes. One of us has to, he said. Nurse Evelyn stepped closer, tears in her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered. Michael was lifted toward the center of the room. Toward the heart. As the walls closed around him, he felt something strange. Not pain. Acceptance. Michael no longer felt the floor beneath him. He floated. The hospital surrounded him, not as walls or ceilings, but as sensation. Pressure. Memory. Thought. Street. Holloway breathed through him now. Every heartbeat echoed inside his skull. Every flicker of light felt like a nerve firing. He saw everything. Every room. Every patient. Every death. Ward B was silent. Beds were empty. Bodies lay peacefully for the first time, their faces calm, eyes closed. Heart monitors showed flat lines, and this time, they stayed that way. The hospital had been fed. Balanced. Michael understood what he had become. Not a patient, not a nurse, a core. The hospital spoke, not through intercoms now, but directly into his mind. Stability achieved. Michael tried to scream. No sound came. Across town, the other Michael woke up. He was lying on the side of the road, morning sunlight warming his face. No hospital in sight, no scars, no IV marks, just a headache. He staggered to his feet and saw a small town ahead, cars, people, life. Freedom. But something felt wrong. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw hospital hallways. He heard a heartbeat. Thump, thump. Back inside street. Holloway, Nurse Evelyn stood alone in the basement. The walls were quiet now. The veins receded. The building slept. She placed her hand gently against the wall. Thank you, she whispered. Michael heard her. Somehow. He felt no anger. Only the weight of what he had done. Days passed. Weeks. The hospital decayed further, but it did not hunger. Michael held it together from within. Until one night, he felt it. A new presence. A young voice. Confused. Afraid. Footsteps echoing in a hallway that should have been empty. The hospital stirred. Michael understood the truth then. His sacrifice didn't end the cycle. It only delayed it. And now, someone else had entered street. Holloway Memorial Hospital. The footsteps echoed softly through corridor C. Slow. Careful. Human. Michael felt them before the hospital did. A young woman, no older than 25, walked beneath the flickering lights, clutching a flashlight and a clipboard. Her breath was shaky. Her heartbeat loud. New staff. New fear. The hospital stirred gently around Michael, like a sleeping animal sensing prey. No, Michael thought. He pushed against the walls from the inside, not with muscle, but with will. The lights dimmed. The intercom crackled weakly. But street. Holloway did not obey him completely. It never had. The woman stopped in front of a sealed door. 404, intensive care. Her radio crackled. Night nurse, room 404 needs assistance. Michael felt the hunger awaken. Not sharp, not violent, patient. He understood then. The hospital didn't feed on flesh. It fed on choice, on desperation, on people who believed they had nothing left to lose. Michael reached outward, deeper than before, threading his consciousness into the walls, the wires, the old machines. The intercom changed. Instead of calling her name, it whispered something else. Go home. The woman froze. She looked around, confused. The lights steadied. Her radio went silent. After a long moment, she turned around and ran. The hospital trembled. Anger. Michael held firm. For the first time, street. Holloway resisted him. And for the first time, he resisted back. Outside, months later, the other Michael read the news on his phone. Abandoned hospital demolition delayed. Unexplained power surges reported. He felt the familiar ache in his chest. Guilt. Understanding. Some nights, he dreamed of Holloway's breathing. Of a man holding the walls together from the inside. Back within the ruins, Nurse Evelyn walked the silent corridors. She stopped at the basement wall. Are you still there? She whispered. Michael answered, not with words, but with warmth. Yes, the hospital would never be cured. But it could be contained. As long as someone stayed awake. As long as someone remembered why the doors should stay closed. The neon sign outside finally burned out. St. Holloway Memorial Hospital, no vacancy. No night shift. No call lights. Just a quiet building, held together by one consciousness that refused to let anyone else pay the price. And deep inside the walls, Michael Reeves waited. Watching. Guarding. Because some horrors don't end, they're managed.